few years, you've undoubtedly heard a lot about drugs being used for weight loss, like Ozempic and Wegovy. The popularity is leading to a concerning trend, a surge in counterfeit drugs on the market.
Our consumer investigator, Caroline Hicks, is on your side, speaking with an expert to help you decipher what's real and what's not.
We oftentimes hear about the good and bad that comes with social media and the internet. In this case, health experts say some people are trusting information they see online without verifying it and ordering products from third-party sellers like e-commerce sites and med spas. The products are not legitimate and, if injected, can cause serious issues. Just last month, the World Health Organization put out a medical product alert to warn consumers about fake weight loss drugs. I spoke with Shabir Imber-Safdar, a counterfeit medicines expert with the Partnership for Safe Medicines. He says there are two dangers you should know about. One, fake versions of these drugs that may contain harmful substances, incorrect dosages, or inactive ingredients. Or compounded versions of these medications, which do not undergo the same scrutiny and regulations as those going through an actual Ozempic factory, for example.
If you get mold in the air, or a bacterial contaminant, and then you inject it into your body, you can have severe consequences. In fact, we saw about 11 years ago a spinal injection that was infected with meningitis kill over 100 people in this country, and that was a compounded medication. That is the most deadly pharmaceutical event we've seen in 2 decades, and it was from lack of sterility in the compounding room.
So what can you do to make sure you're ordering legitimate products? Safdar recommends talking to a real doctor about what will work best for you, not a computer.
Figure out if those medications are right for you and what other things you need, like a nutrition or an exercise plan, and then get the branded product. Don't self-source. You cannot tell what a fake online pharmacy looks like. You need to only go to a legitimate licensed pharmacy.
Once you order a product online, it's hard to tell whether it's legitimate. He says counterfeiters are good at what they do, and if someone's selling compounded Ozempic, for example, it does not require a serial number, so it's not able to be traced. That's why he says it's important to get the branded medication from a legitimate medical source. I'm Caroline Hicks with your Consumer Solutions.